And just like that, we're back. It's dynamics on the hardwood, a new round of the NBA playoffs taking place, and it's the Eastern and the Western Conference Finals going down. We're excited. It's Mazzi and it's Live Zone. What's poppin', brother?
Hey, another day, another dollar. We got a lot to talk about with these NBA playoffs, so let's get into it and let's get into those matchups.
Absolutely. Some fine matchups indeed, both the West and the East. Let's kick it off with the East. We like to talk about our beloved Boston Celtics as usual. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown going up against Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, and the Indiana Pacers. A hell of a matchup, if I do say so myself. Last one, we got Tyrese, the assist master, can knock down the threes. He's been averaging, I think, 3 or 4 threes a game. Um, he's playing lights out. Pascal Siakam is money from the key. Naismith playing his part. And then TJ McCollum coming out of nowhere. McConnell, sorry, coming out of nowhere, off the bench. What do you see going down in this series? Who do you think is going to stand out? And which team do you think gets it done and moves on to the NBA Finals?
Well, let me first off by saying this. I think we see the two best Eastern Conference teams in the Eastern Conference Finals right now. We have been spending all year with me coming at you guys, telling you to watch out for the Indiana Pacers because the Indiana Pacers are legit. Tyrese Halliburton is legit. He is the modern day Magic Johnson. He is an oversized point guard that's playing the two and the one that can go out and give you 8 points and 20 assists and still win the game, right? That's the whole point here. It's going to be a tough matchup for the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics don't like to play fast basketball. And, Indiana, it really just depends on the day for them. But they do play half fast, half slow. So it's going to be a hard series. I think it's going 7 games. I really don't see the Boston Celtics squeaking out of this one in a 5 or 6 game series. I see Tyrese Halliburton and Obi Toppin and Miles Turner and everybody, Pascal Siakam, pushing the Celtics to a game 7.
Absolutely. Do you see any people standing out in this series on both sides of the ball? Who do you see difference maker for the Pacers and the Celtics?
Well, the difference maker for the Pacers, I really think, is going to be Tyrese Halliburton. I really think, it really just depends on if he wants to shoot the ball or not. He has to be that leader. It's that time to lock in for him. And if he can be that leader and be that clutch shooter that we know he can be, Celtics are going to have a problem, right? Especially without Kristaps Porzingis. But I will say there's two key players for the Boston Celtics. As of right now, this is recorded after game 1. I will say that. So we are going to go into game 1 a little bit. I think that after seeing game 1, the two guys that I'm looking at is Jaylen Brown and Al Horford. Both have made phenomenal plays on the defensive end in game 1 to push the Celtics into overtime. And then after that, Jaylen Brown sealing it up. It really does look like Jaylen Brown wants it more than Jason Tatum at this point in given time. So for me, I'm going to say that Jaylen Brown and Al Horford are going to be your two guys to look out for in Boston.
I'm agreeing with the Al Horford. Yes, Jaylen Brown making the clutch three tonight. Um, Putting the Celtics into overtime and then Jason Tatum sealing the deal in overtime. I do think both played equally well. I don't really have a lot of complaints except for the amount of turnovers, and the mental errors and the missed shots by Tatum in the end as well. Tatum had about 4 shots in the last 2 minutes that if he hits any of those, we win the game. There's that. But Drew Holiday came up huge. Al Horford is a difference maker in this. He keeps averaging about 20 points, rebounds, and assists in a game. The Celtics are very tough to beat no matter how well Indiana shoots. I think Indiana shot around 50% tonight after shooting almost like 70% against the Knicks in that game 7, which is pretty crazy. So we'll have to see if Indiana can shoot it and the Celtics can still get the dubs in this. Give me Horford and Derek White as always to be a difference maker for the Celtics. And for Indiana, TJ McConnelly, dude. He's killing it out there. He's averaging double digits off the bench, giving them 20 minutes, assisting on dives, ready to go, really. And Pascal Siakam, if he keeps being automatic from the key and the free throw line and just inside the 3-point line, it's going to be tough against these Indiana Pacers. I do see the Celtics in 7 games as well.
And then the other thing that I did want to add too, because I know that we love betting over here in Livezone Sports. The things to keep an eye on is going to be Al Horford. Look for his blocks, look for his rebounds. Those are two things that he definitely hit on tonight. And I would also look at Jaylen Brown's points because Jaylen Brown, I think you can get away with him getting at like 20 points for alt points instead of having his regular points, and I think he had over 23 tonight, if I'm correct. Halliburton is always a lock on assists, and I would also look at guys like I would look at Aaron Nesmith for points. I would look at Miles Turner for rebounds, etc., like that.
And if you're looking for straight up lines on the games, I would go for Indiana in game 2. Celtics 0-2 this postseason. In game 2s at home, losing both. So watch out for that. That might be a sneaky pick. In a game 2 where Indiana would really need it to claim home court. Um, but we will see. Game 1 down 1-0 Celtics, as we know, winning in overtime. Both predicting these games in 7. Zone and Mazzi. We do have another game in the Western Conference. Western Conference Finals matching up Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and the Dallas Mavericks are going up against that guy, that man, Anthony Edwards, also Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Just like you were saying about Indiana and Boston from the jump of the season, I've been saying Timberwolves. No, I was saying actually OKC for a while, but Ant really turned it on. We all knew Ant was ready to go, but I did claim the Mavericks would be in this position. Um, from the beginning of this season, I thought it would work. I don't like Kyrie, but man, he can get it done with Luka. Live zone. We got a very interesting series. I think it comes down to a lot of Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert play, as well as Anthony Edwards doing his thing. If he's only putting up 16 points in the games, like he did in this game 7 against Denver, even though Minnesota still won, I don't think it happens that way every time. But what do you think is going to go down in this Western Conference? Do you have the Timberwolves or the Mavericks moving on to the NBA Finals? And who are you watching out for in this series?
Well, the three players that I'm really watching out for all come from Minnesota. I'm obviously watching Anthony Edwards. I know Anthony Edwards, he had a bad few last games, only having 16 points in the game 6, I believe, or game 5, whatever it was, of the last series. And with Luka getting 30 something and Kyrie getting 30 something, he's gonna have to put up more points. I think that's known. I think that, at the end of the day, though, who's inside for the Dallas Mavericks right now that can stop these twin towers that we got going on in Minnesota? That's the thing that I'm looking at. Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert are a great wall to put against a lot of a lot of offenses because they're tall, they can get buckets, and they can get a rebound or a block whenever. So I'm going to say that the most important person in this series is going to be Karl Anthony Towns. Reason being, he needs to score, he needs to facilitate, he needs to get rebounds. He needs to play defense. He needs to be like a Joel Embiid type of player right now. And that's what we need to see out of Karl Anthony Towns. But on the other side, You need Kyrie there too. So Kyrie is going to be the most important person on the Dallas Mavericks side because we know Luka is going to get 40, 30, 40 points a game. But afterwards, where does Kyrie fit? Because if Kyrie's going to get, 16 to 20 points a game, it's not going to get it done against this Minnesota team. So you need Kyrie to score 30, 35 points as well. So on Dallas's side, Kyrie is the most important player right now.
It's tough. It's tough. On the one side, you have the Dallas Mavericks with the offense, unstoppable offense. You got Kyrie and Luka Doncic on the same team. It's a cheat code almost with a supporting cast that can score as well. It's very, very tough to stop. On the other side, you have a once in a generation player in Anthony Edwards. You do have the defensive twin towers of Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, and they can put up offense. Karl Anthony Towns has gone for 60 points in a game before. He does go for 30 or more in games, and those are games where Minnesota absolutely has to win. It's inevitable that they win those games. The thing is exactly what you're saying. Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, if they show up defensively and smother the offense of the Dallas Mavericks and can keep them around 100 to 110 in this series, I think the Timberwolves take this with ease. But if Dallas is scoring 120 in these games, I see Dallas winning this series. It's a toss up to me. It all depends who shows up. It's home court. I think it comes down to these first two games in this series of which way the momentum goes to. I don't want to do it because I feel like I'm betting against Jordan, but I'm gonna go with the Dallas Mavericks to make it to the NBA Finals. I think it'll go down in 6 games.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I'm going Minnesota and I'm going 6 games as well. I can't bet against what Anthony Edwards is doing. And, the way that everybody's talking about him, it's just fuel. It's just fuel that burns and it just keeps on going. And he has that mentality that Kobe had. He has the jump like Michael Jordan had. He has the shot like Kobe had. I just I cannot bet against the Minnesota Timberwolves right now. And that's a scary thing because I will point this out to people. I will say this that, out of the 4 teams that are left in the playoffs, the Boston Celtics are a slow paced team. The Dallas Mavericks are a slow paced team. The Indiana Pacers are hot and cold on being a slow pace or hot paced team. The tempo that Minnesota plays, it's like they're on a fast break every single possession. So I'm really worried for the Boston Celtics right now when it comes to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And if I'm looking at the Western Conference, I want to play Luka and I want to play Kyrie because I don't want to play Anthony Edwards and those Twin Towers. They're too fast paced for me for the Boston Celtics right now. And being the only fast paced team in the league still, it's just going to come down to if they get burnt out or not. And I don't think that they will. So I'm gonna go with Minnesota in 6.
We might have got some tidbits on some lines moving around, but that's something else that we're gonna keep in our pocket. But either way, Dallas or Minnesota making it to the finals, well deserved. Congratulations for making it to the Western Conference Finals. Same to Indiana and Boston. Who knows? We could see Indiana versus Anthony Edwards. I wouldn't hate that one either. That one would be pretty crazy as well. But if you need any betting, go to our friends at ECSI.
Of course.
Okay, you can go to their website anywhere. Go place some money line bets. You can also get um bet picks. Go over there, try it out, see if you like it. Best in the game over there. Moving forward, also we got the website coming very soon. Liam been working. Um, what else we got, Lazo? What else we got going on?
Well, we got a lot coming. We got merch coming. We got a few new podcasts coming. We're still working on channel 159, as well as we are in the realms of working on a stocks podcast as well. So those should be coming to you as well. Make sure that you're subscribing to the Consumption Network news channel because Eamon is putting out a lot of content, a lot of great content out there, fashion, mental health, and news for you guys. And yeah, I mean, other than that, either way, looking at the NBA playoffs, we're going to have a new champion this year. So, and it's going to create a new star, probably the leading star of the NBA for the next 10 years. So I'm excited. I'm ready for it. Hopefully it's the Boston Celtics, but I have my worries.
And then June 17th parade, June 18th, Boston Celtics marking it right now. Let's get it. That's it for Dynamics on the Hardwood. It's Mazzi and it's Live Zone. We're always having fun when you're tuning in with us. Listen to us, talk our minds. Live Zone. What do they got to do?
Stay tuned.